A lot of you are still using ChatGPT in beginner mode. I'm going to show you a couple of things you can do to instantly become a pro user. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kyle. I create guides on how to use AI to start and grow businesses, and I teach internationally, including Fortune 500 companies, how to better use tools like ChatGPT. The first thing you need to do if you're using ChatGPT on a regular basis is use a framework for when you prompt. I personally teach something called the Risen framework. It's going to be on screen up here. A lot of people have copied this, so you might be seeing this around. Basically, whenever you're talking to ChatGPT, use this framework to structure your instructions. We start with a role declaration that is saying how we want ChatGPT to act. So if we want to write some copy for a website, for example, we'd say act as a website copywriter. What that's going to do is limit the scope of what ChatGPT will do for us. So it's not going to try to do things outside of that particular role. This means that the answer goes from being an extremely generic one to very focused. Always start with the role declaration first, because then ChatGPT is already thinking in that mindset as it reads the rest of your instructions. Second, we're going to give the actual declaration of what we want it to do. This is the instructions, the second part of the framework. Here, make sure you are not using words like would you, could you, can you, but instead give a very direct, focused instruction. Equally, don't worry about being polite. If you start adding please and thank you into it, that's just giving additional context to ChatGPT, which is just going to confuse it. Just be direct. As a Brit, I obviously want to use lots of would you, could you, and politeness, but that does not make for a better output from ChatGPT. Next up is steps. If I was giving a task to somebody who works for me, I would not just give them the task like write a blog article. I would give them the instruction, write a blog article, and then a list of steps about exactly how I want them to do it. I do not assume that they know how to do it immediately. So instead, I'm going to give them how I would go about doing it, the process, these steps that are required to come up with a good output. It's exactly the same with AI. After that, we move on to E, which is end goal. This is where we tell ChatGPT exactly what we expect to see. And we say, this is what success looks like to me. This is so often overlooked where people get a response from ChatGPT and they say, it's rubbish, like ChatGPT's crap, it can't give me anything useful. But that's because they haven't actually said to ChatGPT what they want. And then finally, after that, we move to narrowing. What I want you to do is run the whole prompt with RISE, without the N for now. And then based on the output of that prompt, you're going to add some narrowing constraints. This is basically where we tidy up and fix things. If you want this full guide, there's a link in the comment. What I've done is put together a whole guide. You can see it on screen here. This is about prompt engineering, and it runs through the Risen model and a few other frameworks that will get you started and help you become a much better user of AI.